called Chunty.
Hello again, it is Sunday. Yes it is. It's a good way to start. Just by pointing out what day it is, in case you're oblivious. Episode 31 of CHUNTCAST. I'm your host, Uncle Chunt. As always, talking head from down under, budding comic book creator, and man in the middle. And now man of many words. Before we begin, consider joining the Chunk Corps by subscribing and following all the links that you'll see in all the video throughout this evening and all that good stuff. How are you? It is Sunday, as I pointed out, and I've got a roast going on. A bit of silver side and some potatoes, and oh my god, I can't wait. So that's slow cooking at the moment. I've been getting in the habit of doing a lot of that, slow cooking meats and pork roasts and other types of roasts. It's kind of my favorite thing. It's just great, man. You could have this slab of meat for like a few days, or you know, you can spread it out to a week if you like, and just pick at it. God damn, I'm right in the roast mode. I'm really enjoying it. How are you? I know you can't just tell me directly, but feel free to do so right now, or comment below and tell me, hi Chunt, I am good, thanks for asking. No worries, and I'll get a notification about that. So well done. So today, what are we doing? Oh boy, well, WandaVision finished, and I've got a bit of a rant about the ending. Far out. Yeah, I've got some words here that might take up the brunt of this afternoon / this evening. And rumors that Henry Cavill jumping ship to Marvel to be Captain Britain. I have some thoughts on that. And just to finally round out this Marvel afternoon, is just a bit of a niggling report about the Avengers video game. I've brought it up a few times on the show, and how difficult it is to get into playing it, and it seems like they're making it worse for people. So I'm going to talk about that later on in the show, but first, as always, we're going to go straight into Ask Chunt. Now, if you have a question that you would like on the show for me to talk about / answer, either leave a comment below or go to my Twitter or whatever else, my other socials. Find my Ask Chunt post. I put it up every couple of Fridays or every couple of weekends. I'll post one up just saying, hey guys, you know, doing another round to collect some questions. And if there's something you want me to talk about on the show, just let me know, doing it like that, or in the comments section below, as I mentioned. So today we've got Sin Spaces again with another question. He's a good boy. He went ahead and gave me like 3 or 4 at once. So I've got some of those backed up to sprinkle out over the coming weeks. So good on him. And he wants to know, show me 4 gaming covers you think are the best without equal. Right. That is difficult. I had a few in mind, but there are so many. I went through my back catalogue behind me and the catalogue of past and catalogue of future, and just looking through all of the artwork and all the covers. And what I did is I found 4 of them, because he asked for 4, that really just stood out to me amongst the other ones. You know, where you just have to look at them and you just gravitate to the ones that stick out to you the most. So let's go over those now, shall we? So the first 2, Doom and Altered Beast. Man, I don't care what you think about these games. Doom obviously has, you know, it's well known, whatever that, you know, everybody knows what Doom is. Altered Beast, it's lost to time, I think. Not many people talk about it, but man, I've got a soft spot for that game, particularly that game on Mega Drive. Not so much the arcade version, but I do have that version. But this one, I have it on my bookshelf and in other forms. This one just, like, I can see why people say it's not the best game, but I don't care. I think it's awesome, man. Like, it's just, the music is memorable, the gameplay and the voices and the sound effects. God, it's ingrained into my psyche, this game. And the cover is just epic. I would put that on a wall next to Doom. You know, both of those to me are iconic. Like, you would have thought I'd pick Sonic or something for something Sega related, because I'm a Mega Drive kid. We grew up with one of those, and the first 2 games we had were Altered Beast and Fantasia, and one of them is clearly superior than the other. And that's Altered Beast. I just think it's that game. the first level itself, like rise from your grave and all that, all that kind of stuff, and busting out of the stone and turning into the wolf and getting to the end of the level and welcome to your doom and all that kind of stuff. It's just every time I play it, it gives me the warm fuzzies and the chuckles. Like, it's just the best. I will always wave the flag for that game. Doom, I can take or leave. Like, I'm not one of these diehard Doom fans, but there's no denying how epic that cover is. Seriously, it's iconic for a reason. And look at it. I mean, there've been so many like pretenders over time that have mimicked that cover. Even Doom 2016 went and kind of recreated it somewhat. Yeah, it's great. I would definitely hang these up if I had a place that I could actually hang frames up. If I ever own a home, I'll be putting a whole bunch of like I'll be printing them out like blown up and putting them all over my walls, all my favorite game covers. Some of them are like legit art pieces, and not only do they just mean something to me, but just the artwork on them themselves are worth putting up on display. So what do you think of those two? Altered Beast. Are there any Altered Beast fans out there? I would like a comment below. If I know I'm not alone here. I know it does have fans, but they're hard to come by. Anyway, so that's those two. The next two, you're probably going to roll your eyes a bit. They might be a bit obvious, but to me, they're great. Halo 4 and Gears of War 2. Halo 4, both of these covers, I actually have canvas prints, like 40 something inches wide or whatever, and I've got them rolled up in the garage because, like I mentioned, for some reason my landlord won't let me screw in hooks or anything in the walls here. So just sucks I can't put any of my like pictures and posters up. Anyway, rant over. Halo 4, I just think that cover it's just amazing. Like, I love that, the pose and the light and how it like draws your eye up to the title. And that game in particular, it's an unsung hero. I think Halo 4 is one of the best Halo campaigns ever. Like, Halo 2 is everybody's favorite, which is fine, it makes sense, but I don't like all of Halo 2. I don't like the Arbiter missions. I could have done without being the Arbiter in that game, but whatever, that's a divisive opinion. Halo Combat Evolved, yeah, that's cool, not really too hot on the cover. Halo 3's cover is a bit boring, but this one, to me, it's Halo moving forward. Like when 343 took over from Bungie and they had this new lease on life, and I thought Halo 4 was one of the most personal campaigns, like for Master Chief and Cortana, outside of all the action and the new bad guys and the new story, the new saga, the Forerunner saga that they were starting. I was all into that. And we're not even going to talk about Halo 5, but I was all in on that game. Love it. Gears of War 2 is where they stepped up the bar for this series. Gears of War 1 grabbed me by the balls and I was like, what is this game and how come I've never had a game like this before in my life? And I've been a fan ever since. It's like my favorite game series, and Gears of War 2 just expanded upon the lore. And between the success of the first game, there was like novels and a comic, and it just expanded, and this kind of took hold of that new narrative and that new world building. And kind of when you start this game and jump right into it, you feel like you're in a more of a lived in like concept. There's more here. And it just keeps going out throughout that game and Gears of War 3. I had to toss up between 2 and 3. I do enjoy Gears of War 3's poster or cover, but this one, to me, it's very dramatic. It says a lot, particularly some moments in the game, and just like the weight of war and all that kind of stuff. I have, like I mentioned, I have that canvas print, and I can't wait to be able to hang that up again. But yeah, those 4 covers to me always kind of stuck in my mind. I'm sure there's plenty of others that I could have chosen, like Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball. Oh, that's just iconic as hell, man. Oh my god, tits. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. What are your favorite game covers? I am interested to know, because if there's a game that I have no idea what it is, or I can't remember what the cover is, and you tell me something, I'll definitely go check it out and tell you what I think about it. But yes, that's done. So that's Ask Chunt for today. Thank you for that, Brian at Synspaces. as I mentioned, if you have a question that you want me to answer on the show, leave a comment below or on my socials, hashtag AskChunt or something, and I'll find it. And we'll go from there. Anyway, next, the first real topic. Now strap in for a bit, because this is going to be a bit of a rant, but a constructive one. It's not just going to be me rambling on about, didn't like it, like I do have points that did rub me the wrong way. So let's touch on that a bit, shall we? Right. So spoiler warning. I mean, if you're a fan of this show, you would have seen it by now. And the title of this video and the thumbnail of this video would have led you to believe that we're going to be discussing the finale. Don't whinge at me for spoiling shit. You know, you're an adult. I assume you have control of your own destiny. Somewhat. So yeah, WandaVision. It was one of those water cooler shows. I wasn't interested until like episode 4, and people are like, man, you should probably go check it out. I tried the first 2 episodes and I was like, nah, I'm done, I'm out. I wasn't interested, and I mentioned that a few CHUNTCASTs ago now. And then episode 4 and 5 came around and people were like, nah man, nah, give it another go back and check it out. It's like, oh, all right. So, you know, week to week, I was like, all right, I'm sure there's going to be a payoff here, you know, eventually. You know, there's a couple of cool moments. The problem is, like, the actors were talking this show up every week. Like, there was a new quote from one of the actors or someone on the cast or someone on the crew or the director was saying, you know, oh, just wait till this episode because something cool's going to happen, or there's a Luke Skywalker moment coming up, or, you know, Paul Bettany's like, oh, there's an actor that I've always wanted to work with, and it's going to be amazing, and all this kind of shit. And, you know, everybody was coming up with their own fan theories and, you know, YouTube videos every bloody week, something. So, you know, everybody's speculating on minute details. You know, those Easter eggs and details in the background are there for a reason, you know, and we've been accustomed to that. Throughout these comic book movies, like both on Marvel and DC, they have Easter eggs in the background, or when someone says a particular line, or, you know, they're over-analyzed so much, you know, to the point where hype is at an all-time high. And that happened with this show. Much to everybody's disappointment, I believe. There's going to be some diehard fans out there that really enjoyed it. I don't care. This is just my experience with it. Deal with it. In my honest opinion, I think the fan theories that were happening, that seemed credible, turned out to be more exciting than what the actual show was. Sorry to say. Oh my god, I could not believe it. Anyway, so I'm not going to talk about a whole recap because you would have watched it. If you want to know what my thoughts are, you would have watched the show by now. And we're just going to jump right into the ending. That's what my main gripe is. I think the ending could have saved the show if, right? So my points are, and now bear with me, I've jotted them down into some kind of coherent form. All right. Now, I get that Wanda is now technically the hero of her own story, but she's the bad guy. Now, it turns out to be. And I'll touch on that a bit later. But anyway, so throughout this whole show, we're led to believe that, you know, Wanda is still the Wanda that we know, like the good guy on the Avengers, and, you know, she's a bit troubled. Yeah, cool, whatever. But something's going on. Cool. We don't exactly know why. And then there's it was Agatha all along, but that turned out to be bullshit because it was Wanda the whole time. So what was all that about? Anyway, at the final battle, the final confrontation, like, it took Agatha, the bad witch, to break the connections of all the people in the town from Wanda so they can wake up and start begging her to stop, you know, begging her to let them go. And they're all like approaching her and, you know, trying to just get to her, get through to her. So, you know, we want to get back to our daughters and our sons and our husbands, back to our real lives. And it took that for Wanda to kind of have any moment or a shred of conscience, you know, like that what she was doing was actually bad. You know, like she knew the whole time what was going on, but it took that for the bad guy to show her how bad she actually is, how bad Wanda actually is, you know. I don't know, that whole dynamic was like, what the hell? Are we still supposed to be rooting for Wanda now or what? Because as the show goes on, we know that she's controlling all these people. How can we sympathize with that? And even like Vision throughout the whole show is like going, what? Whoa, crazy lady, you know, don't put your dick in crazy kind of thing. And he's like backing off going, oh my god. Anyway, so, and where were the actual heroes, right? Like, we know now that she's the villain. So who's the hero of this story? It's not Agatha, because she's out for her own motive. Everybody has a motive. Even that Hayward bloke at the at Sword that guy who was repairing or reviving Vision, his dead body parts, and built the White Vision for his own means of protection. Now the show built him out to be, you know, the typical dick, like the bad guy, or the guy that you love to hate, that character. But I think he was the actual hero of this show. He was the only guy that was going, no, what is happening is bad, and I'm here to make sure this stops. You know, he pulled out everything that he had, all the resources of his company, whatever it was, Sword or something, and he was rebuilding Vision to be like a deterrent against what's happening. You know, trying to recover what they had to fight against this creature, this Nexus being that can't be stopped. But they all do what they can, right? And I was like, all right, cool, go for it, man. Like, she's obviously bent, like she's not right, and she needs to be stopped. But they were painting him out to be the bad guy, which was very strange, where everyone else in the show was on Wanda's side. So who was on the people's side? All the people in that town that were taken control of and ruled by, taking their free will away. Who was rooting for them? Now, we did get introduced to one person, Monica, who I'm going to sprinkle her out these next points. Now, I do have my problems with that character as well. I think they just shoehorned her in a bit, but she turned out to be, at the start, the only person that was trying to save the people, which is what I'm talking about, besides Hayward. Like, yeah, they had their confrontations, they had their disagreements between Monica and Hayward. Hayward was the guy in charge, and she was kind of challenging his authority and, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's where that conflict came from. But yeah, so what rubbed me the wrong way with her character? I think she's a good character. I think they built her in a way where you can relate to her or her good intentions as a person and as someone who's there to try and help / stop Wanda. But at the end of the day, Monica ends up condoning Wanda's actions, right? Oh my god. Like the last conversation they have in the show. The whole show, Monica's trying to get in there and stop her / save her, right? Wanda. But at the very end, when Wanda brings the walls down and comes down to Earth and's like, yeah, my bad, I've done a bad. Whoopsies. Monica's just done a 180 and says, man, they'll never know what you sacrifice by letting your kids and Vision disappear. They'll never know your sacrifice. I would have done the same. Right. So right there, you've just gone, yeah, we know you did a bad, but it's okay. You know, you control these lives as, puppets, a slave to your emotional torment, torturing these people for God knows how long because you had an emotional episode. Run along now. It's all right. Cool. No one else there was like, wait a minute, hang on a minute. No. You get right back here, miss. What is your problem? What you got some explaining to do, lady. It's going to switch over to here, just another visual aid. And I mean, her costume's freaking awesome, man. I mean, she's hot as hell. She could step on my balls and it'd be all right. But anyway, so they let her fly away. And I had a bit of a conversation online with some people when I made that criticism, when I said, oh, they just let her fly away. But they were like, oh, it's not like anyone could have stopped her. And I was like, well, that conversation in its own is like saying whatever she did is all right. And we shouldn't even try and stop her, because she's going to just destroy us anyway. No. I disagree with that entirely. Monica Rambeau entered that thing, that hex, without powers, when it's like, no, I'm going to get through to her and I'm going to stop this. So she was like, I'm a human, I have no powers that I know of, you know, even though she had some genetic issues that were mentioned throughout the show. And she's like, nah, I'm going in, I'm going to try and help her out, talk her out of it. Not, I'm going to go fight her, or I'm going to go challenge her, rah, rah. No one at that point, when they both said, yeah, it's okay, you did it bad, but disappear anyway. No one, I wouldn't have a problem with this ending if someone was like, no, hang on a minute. You can't just disappear. Like, you have to answer for what you've done. I can't let you go away. You know, something like that. And if Wanda was like, try and stop me, and then they don't fight or whatever, and they just accept it and let her go, I would have been like, all right, cool. At least someone stood up to the plate. That's what I was looking for at the end. And that's what I mean by this ending lives or dies by how it actually ends. No one in the good guy camp stood up to Wanda at the end. Like, yeah, she defeated Agatha, who's arguably a villain. I mean, I don't know. She was just after Wanda's ability. You know, if she got the ability, then she'd probably be more of a threat. But anyway, she's kind of like a no nonsense, like, doesn't really mean anything, really. Agatha doesn't mean anything now. So once Wanda took the walls down, trapped Agatha in her own little mind in that role of nosy neighbor, comes down to Sword and Monica and is like, yeah, look, it's all done, my bad, see ya. Had someone, Hayward or Monica or whatever, what's her other name, that tech chick, come forward and is like, no, you can't just disappear, we got to talk about this, we can help you, but you can't just disappear. You know, if something was like that, they could have resolved it in a way where it kind of goes, all right, they've actually accepted that she's done bad things. Whereas at the moment, the people don't mean crap. You know, you've got one person on Sword or whoever, FBI, is like, yeah, start gathering evidence, yeah, talk to people, and that's it. A couple of lines. No one cares. No one cares that this whole town is just, they've lost how much time of their lives, and these people are going to have like some mental issues for ages after this, you know, living in fear. But no consequences. I know I'm kind of circling around this point, but that's a big problem. That's a narrative problem in this show. You've got 9 episodes worth of build-up, and I don't buy the whole, oh, this is going to be answered in the Doctor Strange movie. You know, they might answer for her crimes there, or she might be the new villain. So yeah, I get that, but you have to look at this show as its own contained story, which is opening up to other things. You can't tell me in 9 episodes that they couldn't have 60 seconds of Monica or someone going, wait up, no, and then, I don't know, get brushed aside and Wanda disappears. That's all you need. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking about this, you know. I'd be like, all right, cool. Yep, no one's going to take her on, but at least they tried. That's what I was looking for. I don't know. That's the problem with this Marvel universe, right? No one answered for anything until Civil War came along. When the government's like, wait a minute, guys, like, you guys are doing bads and you need to be taking the task for it. But it took how many movies to get there? And you think they would have learnt after the fact of like, right, you know, we need to keep an eye on these guys, and you know, we need to keep them in check. But no. Anyway, I'm ranting on at that point, but I'm trying to hammer that home. Like, where were the Avengers in this? I know Thor's off world of the Guardians, Cap's kind of old, Tony's dead, but there are other powered beings in this world. Like Doctor Strange, for argument's sake, like, where was he? Oh, it's got to be answered in the movie, don't worry. I was like, yeah, but no, I don't buy that. There should have been some kind of like one of the Sword guys or Shield, whatever remnants of Shield is like, where the hell is Doctor Strange? And have a throwaway line. If it was in there, I've missed it. Tell me below if I've missed that line, or whoever explained where Doctor Strange is. Because before Wanda got too powerful, he could have come in and was like, nah, bitch, settle down. You know, wake up to yourself. You know, Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the guy. He's the guardian of Earth as far as the magic realm goes. You know, he's the one that's defending this dimension or whatever he says in his movie from the forces of magic and dark magic and stuff. He would have known about this. One of my first questions would have been, where the hell is Stephen Strange? Anyway, tell me if I've missed that point. I'm curious to know, because I did a quick look before I jumped on here just to make sure. I couldn't find anything. So yeah, by all means, correct me, because I am curious to know. But yeah, he could have just been like, wrapped her up like Thanos before you get too powerful. Nope. Locked her away in the sanctum. Whatever. Anyway, so Wanda's a villain now. So we know that. She accepted it. She even told Agatha or Monica or whatever that she knows what she is, She knows what she's doing. So this whole time she knew exactly what was going on. I don't know. I just don't agree with this ending. It just left a bad taste in my mouth, right? No recourse from the good guys. The bad guys left to run away. You're meant to sympathize with this bad guy, even though they destroyed a whole bunch of lives that isn't getting answered for. Yeah, whatever. I just don't like this show. I just don't think it ended or came together really well. And we didn't really learn much at all. Really. I'm happy that people enjoyed it. Clearly it came out in a time where people needed entertainment. That's great. It should have been bingeable. It should have been all done on in one go. That would have been a far better enjoyment, I think. Enjoyable experience, I think. Not just the week to week. It was a bit weak, man. Week to week, there wasn't really much there. 30 minutes an episode, not much happens. Should have been a bingeable one. I hope Disney might look at this and goes, yeah, we kind of oversold this show and maybe just let the actors and the directors and the cast kind of temper the expectations a bit when they're getting asked about stuff. I just think it was way overhyped. The production, top tier. I've got no gripes against the customers. What the hell? The cast, the crew, the production team, all that stuff. Like, it's top tier stuff. None of that I have a gripe with. It's just the storytelling, the pacing, and definitely the ending I have a problem with, clearly, because I'm still here talking about it. Maybe that's what they wanted, right? I don't know. Maybe they wanted people like me going, what the hell? What? Yeah, but I don't think that's a successful way to end it. The intriguing part at the end is like, yeah, she's got the book now and she's learning more about her abilities and what she can do. That's cool. And she's even more powerful now, I assume. My phone's gone off. And she's obviously more powerful with this book, this Darkhold book that she took from Agatha, which was probably taken from Doctor Strange somewhere along the line. So it's cool to see where that goes. It's going to be a good spin on it. Whatever. We'll see what Doctor Strange does in the movie coming up. And just finally, Pedro, Quicksilver. Oh my God. Like, what a way to just underachieve or oversell and underachieve, right? I thought that was going to be something big, like bridging the universe with the Fox movies and X-Men, like bringing those in somehow via backdoor. But he was just a random dude called Ralph Boner. He was a dick joke because he even laughed. Boner. Like, that's what that turned out to be, where all the fans are like, oh, it's Mephisto, or oh, it's probably Pedro, but an alternate universe one that slipped through, the realities or something, or all these other cooler theories. But it just turned out to be just a random dude named Ralph Boner from the town who was being controlled by Agatha, I assume. So many misses in this show, man. Boy. Like, is this the fans' problem? Did the fans kind of overanalyze, read into it too much, and expect too high? I don't know, man. I've watched some of these theories over the weeks, and some of them seem credible, where they're referencing things in the scenes, characters, like particular sentences they say that are directly from particular comic book runs with Mephisto in it, and all this kind of stuff. Like, there are resources there to justify their theories. And I was like, cool, this could probably end pretty epic in the last 2 episodes, but it fell flat, man. Fell flat to me, 100%. I'm in no rush to go rewatch it, but fingers crossed for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh my god, I'm a bit apprehensive about that show now after this. Anyway, I've said more than enough on this show and this ending. Definite miss for me. Tell me I'm an asshole, tell me I'm wrong, whatever, I don't care, but give me some constructive criticism if you do feel so inclined on commenting on my response to this show. Anyway, let's go a bit more lighthearted now, shall we? A bit more excitement. Captain Britain and Henry Cavill. Goodness gracious. Now, I sourced that photo manip from an article on Comic Book and Screen Rant. They didn't credit who the artist was, not that I could find it. So, if you know who that is or whatever, leave it down below. I don't like not crediting people's artwork like that. Anyway, so how did this come around? Okay, so the conversation and rumor is that Henry Cavill, since the announcement that Warner Brothers dropped about rebooting Superman with a black Superman, I spoke about that last week, that rumors are saying that he and his management got on the phone with Marvel and was like, oi, I'm jumping ship, paraphrasing here, what have you got, who can I be, I'm Henry Cavill, I have this cachet, blah blah blah. And the obvious choice would be Captain Britain. So loosely explaining who Captain Britain is, just think of Captain America but Britain. The whole super soldier type archetype. There have been different iterations of Captain Britain over the time, so I'm not going to sit here and give you a whole rundown on the history of this character, but Marvel is needing a replacement for Steve Rogers, I feel, anyway. Captain America's there's a Captain America hole left in the Avengers and in the MCU. Is it possible that Captain Britain could be that filler, could fill that slot? Henry Cavill sure as hell is a serviceable actor who could definitely fit the role. I mean, he's amazing as Clark Kent Superman, and if he was to be like, I'm out, and if Warner Brothers are going to do him dirty like that, I'm all for it. Do I want Henry Cavill to stay? Henry Cavill. Do I want him to stay over at DC and continue being Superman? 100%. 100% I would like that. But would I have any discretions for him leaving to go to Marvel to be Captain Britain and to fill that Captain America hole? More power to you, mate. Go for it. I would be there. I will support that. He's been done dirty by Warner Brothers. It's a logical career change. It's a sideward move or whatever you want to call it. Whatever that's I can't remember the actual term, whatever it is. And he would be great because he wouldn't have to bung on the American accent. It can just be him as Captain Britain in his voice. He can just be in the role like he does with Witcher a bit. I don't know, like I've seen this getting thrown around, and sometimes where there's smoke there's fire, and a lot of these rumors don't pan out, but I think this one actually makes a bit of sense considering the circumstances. The last 4 years with the DC Universe, the Justice League movie, no promised sequel for Henry Cavill anytime soon, the contractual arguments and discretions between him appearing in Shazam but then not doing it, because of disagreements with the contract and re-upping, because he's still got one appearance left in his contract. So he's playing it coy, man. Like he's like, I don't want to waste my last appearance on a cameo in Shazam at the end. And I agree. If they want him to be Superman, give him more, and then he can write out that contract and start the new one. And if they're not coming to the table, my God, just go, man. Just jump ship. MCU, there's bevy, buttloads and boatloads of fans out there that'll be like, cool, Captain Britain and another obscure hero that everyone's going to instantly love and has always been a fan of, like they always do. Like you see all the experts on Agatha Harkness that came out of the woodworks. People that read one wiki article and was like, oh, I've always loved this character. No, Jesus. I'm sure this is going to happen if this does happen as well. But my God, it'd be sweet. Like Captain America and Chris Evans, Steve Rogers is my favorite thing of the MCU. And I've said I've kind of walked away from the MCU a bit. I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, my favorite thing is gone. Nothing else really intrigues me besides Black Panther, but we know what's happened there. All right, I'm out of that too, kind of. Iron Man's not really there either, so there's not really much left there for me. So if Henry's like jumping over, I'm jumping too, because who knows what's going to happen with Justice League. And I'm doing a separate video after this where it's going to be the whole plot on Justice League 2 and 3 that was meant to happen. Details have come out. Zack Snyder's kind of let the cat out of the bag on what the original plan was for Justice League 2 and 3. So I'm doing a video about that after this on its own, because I'm going to read out the whole thing, and let's find out what all that's about. But anyway, this is great. I think it'd be a great move for him. He's looking for something like that. There's been rumors going around that he's wanting to become more famous than he is. You know, he's well loved among fan communities and nerd culture and that kind of stuff, but he hasn't kind of gotten that role yet. Besides Geralt from Witcher, though that's kind of spearheaded him a bit, I think. Probably a bit higher than Superman, I would argue, in some circles, just because he was the main character there and actually got a lot of screen time, and he's really loving it. So if he's going to get that over at Marvel, then go for it. I'll be there. I'll support that shit. Maybe he can be both Superman and Captain Britain. And he's also rumored to be up for James Bond again after Daniel Craig. So I would love to see that happen. Everything, like Henry Cavill and everything. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, do you know who Captain Britain is? If you do, tell me in the comments and explain to me why this is a good idea, or is it a bad idea? Tell me. I'm very curious to know. So I'm done talking about that. Exciting stuff. This is all like Marvel today. Every episode recently has been all DC stuff, but this is all Marvel today. So I do have range, you know. I do appreciate things. So to finish off, let's have a little let's throw this game under the bus some more, shall we? I don't really like to waste energy on doing such a thing, but it's just so bizarre of a circumstance. So for those of you who don't know, which you probably do by now, as you've probably played it, anyone that's wanted to play this game, the Avengers, has probably played it already, or read the reviews and watched the reviews and realized it's a pile of steaming shit, and they didn't play it and they didn't buy it. So what's happened here is they've made this game even more difficult to get into, more difficult to get into than it already is. I don't know who came up with this idea. So you have to level up in this game like you do most live service games, and you get XP over time, but you have to keep like redoing missions and fighting scenarios and whatever to just keep getting your XP to level up, to get more moves, blah blah blah. That's the end game stuff, you know, to unlock every character's move set and unlock their full capacity. This game was already a drain for new players, and it was a drain on me. Even as a comic book fan, it was a drain on me. I didn't go back for it after the story on PC. I played it on PC first, but I've since bought it on sale on Xbox because, you know, I want to go through it again on my Xbox because my Series X is more powerful than my computer. I want to give it another go because it crashed on me a few times on the PC and it just didn't look that good. So there's a next gen patch coming out for this game. I'm going to give it another shot. I didn't pay full price for it, but I do remember the grind aspect. I can see it when I was playing it, and I didn't really like it too much. Anyway, so what they've done is, here's a quote from Crystal Dynamics. Since we launched last September, our balance team has been evaluating the XP curve for leveling from level 1 to 50, and we'll be making some changes to address 2 core issues. Now, these are fabricated issues that didn't exist, but they're making them issues. Anyway, the update began. The current XP curve isn't really a curve at all. In most RPGs, the amount of XP you need to level up increases as you gain levels in a curve. You know, so that the higher level it is, the more XP you need. That's what they're saying. But in our system, it's a straight line. So you just need X amount of XP every level, like the same amount of XP every level. That's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. but they're making it one. Anyway, so this has led to pacing issues. No, it hasn't. Such as skill points currently being rewarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players. We want each decision to invest in a skill or heroic to be more meaningful. Oh my god. Alright, so what they're just saying here is people are getting through the game too quick. We want to pad this out as much as possible. So what we're doing is we're artificially creating a problem and giving an artificial solution. So instead of just leveling up as you like, apparently getting so many skill points and leveling up real quick isn't good enough. You know, it's not a reason for people to get excited for. What we need to do is take all that away from them and make it difficult for them so they want to play longer. No, that's just so backwards. People are having a hard enough time staying with this game because there's just nothing to it. The end game content, it just isn't there. You're playing the same missions over and over again to the same characters. So what they're doing is, for new players, you're not going to have the same experience that everybody else has had since launch and able to, you know, max out your characters in, you know, X amount of time. So come March 18th, which is when this update is supposed to come out, it's going to take you longer to reach that point that everybody else did. You know, it's going to be harder to get your levels up. Apparently, when you hit like level 20 or something like that, that's when the curve starts kicking in. So from that point on, it's a grind. That curve that they're talking about, that's when that kicks in. I don't get this logic. I really do not understand. What they should be doing is giving you more reasons to play, to give you more rewards more frequently to play. This is taking that away from you. Coming from someone that's already adverse, that's already adverse to live services and live, you know, games as service experiments and games like this. Man, I just, like, I had it booted up here on my handheld mode. This thing, I love this thing, by the way, the Razer Kishi, get one. I was just kind of starting the game up while I was rendering something else earlier today, and plays great on this, by the way. Like, a lot of games play really good on remote play for Xbox. Love it. Anyway, so I was hoping that this game would be something that I can just grind on, like when I'm sitting here working on something, waiting for something to render or to load, or, you know, if I'm just thinking, if I want to have a break, I can just sit here and grind out a combat room or something like that. But knowing that they're going to be making it more difficult for me to level up and max out my favorite character, like Captain America, for argument's sake, or when Black Panther comes out, I want to try that, and I want to, you know, get right into him and see what he's all about. Iron Man apparently gets really good in the later levels, but who knows? This is dumb. This is a dumb move. You're just going to deter more players. I don't understand all this shit that's going on lately, man. Like, you got this kind of crap happening, and you've got people on Twitter today that are getting offended over Pepe Le Pew, like from Looney Tunes. You know, from cartoons that were like 70 years ago or something, however long it is, because he's chasing after a cat that doesn't want his affection, and people are getting pissed off about that. It's just, what is going on? You know, you got bad guys walking away. Like, what's the message in WandaVision? The bad guy walks away with no recompense, no challenge, no consequence. What message does that give people? And at what point did this studio think it's a good idea to make the game less interesting to play when people aren't playing it already? I'm frustrated, man. Just I almost made it through this whole thing without getting my cranky pants on, but they're on. So well done, Chunt. Anyway, I'm going to end there before I get even more cranky, because, you know, the world, I don't understand the world. The world, I don't get it. It just gets more confusing every year. I'm going to stay in my lane as best as possible. And just, oh my God. Yeah, look, you know, that's today's episode. I'm done. Episode 31 over with. I can smell my my roast cooking. It smells great. It's probably about done. I'm a bit hungry. I'm going to go have some of that and just laugh at things. Yep, that's me. Toodaloos. Do all the subscribe shit. Go play games that you like. Don't get offended by things. If you're overly sensitive and get offended by stuff, get over yourself. Go outside, learn a new hobby, put your phone down, and just remember, what world you're living in. Yeah, let's just do this.
And may the power protect you.
Till all are one! Bumblebee tuna!
Yeah, Bumblebee tuna indeed. Live by that. Bumblebee tuna.
Like, comment, subscribe.